At 8:30, they left town. The road was dry and sunny, but there was snow in the ditches and woods. Winter ended and spring arrived suddenly, but nothing new or interesting caught Maria Vasilyevna's attention as she sat in the cart. For 13 years she was a schoolmistress, regularly traveling to town for her salary. Regardless of the season, she always wanted to arrive at her destination quickly, feeling like she knew every aspect of the journey. Only the school and the road lay ahead. With her past and present there too, she had forgotten her past as a schoolmistress with parents in Moscow. Only vague memories remained. Her father and mother had passed away when she was young. She had a brother who used to write to her, but he stopped responding. All that remained was a dim photograph of her mother, just showing hair and eyebrows. Old Semyon informed them of a government clerk arrest a few miles away. He's been taken away. He allegedly killed the Moscow mayor with some Germans. I heard it from people reading the news in Ivan Ionov's town. He recognized her, bowed, and said, "Good morning. Driving home, I presume?" Hanov, a handsome 40-year-old man, looked worn but still attracted women. He lived alone in a big homestead and was often seen whistling or playing chess with his old footman. People claimed he drank heavily, his papers reeking of wine and scent at the previous year's exam. He wore new clothes and impressed Maria, who felt awkward. The examiner was unlike the usual strict ones, unaware of religious practices, asked basic questions politely, and gave top grades. "I'm off to see Bakvist, but it seems he's not home," he told Maria Vasilyevna. They took a by-road to Hanov's village, with Hanov leading and Semyon following, horses struggling through the muddy terrain. Semyon navigated through obstacles while driving the cart, occasionally assisting the horse. Meanwhile, Maria Vasilyevna contemplated the difficulty of the arithmetic exam questions. She was annoyed with the Zemstvo board for their unprofessionalism. Despite asking for 2 years, no one listened to her request to dismiss the rude and inefficient watchman who mistreated schoolboys. The president was difficult to reach and busy, the inspector was uninvolved, the school council rarely met, and the school guardian was uneducated and unhelpful. "He's handsome," she thought, looking at Hanov. The road worsened. They drove into the dense forest, with no room to turn around. The wheels sank, water splashed, and sharp twigs hit their faces. "Ha, what a road," exclaimed Hanov as the schoolmistress stared in confusion at him. "Why bother with money and status in this terrible place? No advantage or comfort, driving on a terrible road with others who suffer. Why not live in a better place, and fix the road? The rich man only laughs and seems happy with his current life." He was innocent, ignorant of this rough life and unfamiliar with prayers. He only owned globes for his studies and considered himself a valuable worker for public education. His globes were useless. Semyon stopped the cart as it nearly tipped over. Maria's purchases fell on her feet. The steep ascent uphill through clay, with gurgling rivulets in winding ditches, made it difficult for the horses to move. Besides Semyon, he seemed lively, but there was a hint of frailty in his gait. Suddenly, there was a scent of alcohol in the forest. Maria felt pity for the man heading towards ruin. She imagined saving him if she were his wife or sister. The contrast of their living situations made her think being close to him was impossible. Life was complicated beyond understanding, with beauty given to weak, unlucky people. Hanov turned right. "Goodbye, wishing you all the best." Her thoughts turned to pupils, exam, watchman, school council, and the sound of the retreating carriage. Mixed with longing for love and happiness that would never come. His wife's home was uncomfortable with a small room and a nearby kitchen. It was cold with no heating and the children added to the inconvenience with snow and mud. The watchman was also missing. She had daily headaches and heartburn after work. Collecting money from students for wood, and the watchman was followed by begging the overfed and insolent school guardian for wood. She dreamt of exams, peasants, and snow. Life made her ugly and awkward. She was afraid around Zemstvo members and school guardians, always standing up and using formal language to refer to them. She was unattractive and her life lacked love, sympathy, and interesting acquaintances. Falling in love would have been awful in her position. Hold on, Vasilyevna. Another steep hill. She became a schoolmistress out of necessity and never considered serving the cause of enlightenment. Her focus was on examinations rather than the children or enlightenment. Teachers and healthcare workers are consumed with thoughts of survival, leaving no room for serving a greater cause. Life is hard and uninteresting for most, but only patient cart horses like Mary endure. Those with vocation and passion quit quickly. Semyon struggles to find a quick route, hindered by obstacles like land and ditches. They turned back several times before reaching Nizhny Gorodistch. By the tavern, on the dirty ground with snow, were wagons carrying huge crude sulfuric acid bottles. The bar was full of drivers and the air reeked of vodka, tobacco, and sheepskins. Loud chatter and banging swing door, concertina plays in the shop. Maria drank tea while peasants drank alcohol nearby. Voices shouted in confusion. Surprised drunk man swears, Semyon responds angrily. See the young lady? Young lady, mocked someone. Swinish crow. Little man confusedly says, we meant nothing. Excuse me. We pay separately. Good morning, greeted the schoolmistress, thanking the peasants. She sipped her tea, blushing like them, and pondered firewood and the watchman. Stay, old man, heard from nearby table. It's schoolmistress from Vyazovye. We know her, she's good young lady. She's all right. Swing door constantly banging, people coming and going. Maria Vasilyevna sat and thought while the concertina played. Sun patches moved and it was now past midday. The neighboring peasants prepared to leave. The little man approached Maria Vasilyevna and shook hands, as did the others before exiting through the squeaking swing door, 9 times in all. Semyon called to Vasilyevna to get ready, and they set off. They walked slowly. Semyon mentioned a recent school construction in Nizhny Gorodistch. It was wicked. Why? They say the president, guardian, and teacher took money. The school only cost 1,000. Slandering is wrong, grandfather. Nonsense. I only repeat hearsay, Semyon doubted the schoolmistress. The peasants doubted her salary and believed she kept most of the money from the children's firewood and watchman fees. The guardian profited from selling firewood and receiving payments from peasants without authorities knowing. They were grateful to have left the forest and were close to Vyazovye. They crossed the river and railway line, and Vyazovye appeared. Maria asked Semyon where he was driving. Go right to bridge. Don't drown horse. Hanov going there, said Maria Vasilyevna. He didn't find breakfast at home. Stubborn man. Lord help us. Drove there instead of here, despite it being 2 miles closer. They arrived at the river. In summer, it was a small stream that could be crossed by wading. It dried up in August, but after spring floods, it became a rapid, muddy, and cold river, 40 feet wide. There were fresh wool tracks on the bank, indicating that it had been crossed. Go on, yelled Semyon, tugging the reins like a bird flapping its wings. The horse waded deeper into the water, causing Maria to feel a chill in her feet. Go on, she yelled, rising from her seat. They disembarked on the shore. Unfavorable conditions, muttered Semyon, adjusting the harness. Maria Vasilyevna was wet and frustrated with Semyon. Barrier down at railway crossing. Maria Vasilyevna waited at the cold crossing for a passing train. Vyazovye and its landmarks were visible, including the school, church, and station with flashing windows and a pink smoke from the engine. Everything appeared to tremble with cold. Train arrived. Windows shining like church crosses. Lady on platform. Maria Vasilyevna looked at her. Wow, she looked just like her mother. Memories flooded back of her family's home in Moscow, with its aquarium and piano sounds. She felt young and happy again. Joy and happiness overwhelmed her. She pressed her hands to her temples and called softly. Mother, she cried, tears streaming down her face. Hanov arrived with his team, and she smiled at him, feeling a newfound happiness. Her parents never died, nor was she a schoolmistress. It was all a strange dream from which she has now awakened. Vasilyevna, get in, and it all vanished. Maria Vasilyevna got into the cart as the barrier was raised slowly. Semyon followed the carriage across the railway line as the signalman removed his cap. Vyazovye, we're here.